everybody here has heard of Pastor Greg Locke. I've covered him quite a few times on my channel, and I covered him like really early on when he was freaking out about people doing the abortion thing, like when they were donating to abortion clinics, but in his name. That made him real upset. So, why don't we go ahead and take a look at Mr. Locke's Twitter? Because I'm going to be honest, we got some mad levels of cope happening today. The fake Locke. We got right here. Al Gore thought he was president for a whole month. Biden-Harris lost. 100. I put the emoji in there to keep up with the younglings. Love Matt Dillahunty here. You should call into my show and tell me about it. Maybe try to defend your faith, too. And I know other Christians will call you low-hanging fruit and suggest that I'm not interested in serious theologians, but it'll be fun. So, for those who don't know, with the Al Gore and President Bush thing, I believe it was Florida that was up in the air for them. And it was a handful of votes. It was a few hundred votes. And that got caught up, and that was when they were asking for recounts. And then in the end, Al Gore won the popular but lost the Electoral College. Now, I do want to point out that Biden had over 75 million votes, 4 million above Trump. Well over him in the popular, and he's well over him in the Electoral College, too, in multiple states. It's still too close for comfort, but it's not the situation that was happening with Gore and Bush. So this seems to be Greg Locke not understanding history, which is not abnormal for him. I am not excited about the fake celebration of President-elect Joe. I am, however, very excited about the fight ahead to bring truth to light and overthrow this fraudulent victory. I'm just imagining Greg Locke just... The copium. It is desperately required. It is desperately required. He can't... Now, granted, Greg Locke not being able to accept reality is pretty... par for the course. We're pretty used to him not really accepting the fact that he lives in a world that has a virus, for instance. Living in a world that has abortion legal for women in the United States. Living in a world where gay marriage is legal. All of these things are realities that he tends to deny frequently. So it's kind of funny to watch him just sit here and freak out. Dear Biden-Harris 2020, your public fall and worldwide humiliation for absolute fraud and betrayal is going to be huge. The crash is coming. This is like the fucking QAnoners with the storm is coming stuff. Just going completely nutso. If you believe Biden won and is President-elect Joe, your gullibility is as dangerous as your willingness to propagate a known lie. I'm just going to retweet this one. Willingness to propagate known lies? I need to learn how to type. My good sir, have you not considered that Twitter isn't a mirror? Isn't a mirror, and projection isn't a good look. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain the fact that Greg Locke propagates known lies constantly. He argues against things like evolution constantly. He argues against women's rights. He argues against all kinds of shit. Known lies is kind of his deal. It's kind of his deal. Oh, but we've got the loyalty. We've got the loyalty here.
Hey guys, Pastor Greg Locke here. Let me be very plain about something. I am not going to abandon President Trump.
My dude, Trump doesn't give a fuck about you. This is like the person in the abuse situation. I will never abandon my husband. But he doesn't love you and doesn't care. I will not abandon him. Except if we made it to where the husband was actually an imaginary husband and they lived several hundred miles away and never spoke to you and you still said you didn't want to abandon them. You know, actually, given the hardline fundamentalist Christian bent that Greg Locke has, he's just treating Trump like Jesus. Never mind, this isn't inconsistent. This is par for the course.
All these people saying, well, the ship's going down, you better get off while you can. Absolutely not. This man has done nothing short than give his entire life.
He's given his entire life. If his entire life existed on the golf course and he didn't give it up at all.
His fortune, his safety, and his...
He didn't give his fortune. He didn't. In fact, actually, from what I understand, given the shit we know about his tax records, it's looking like the presidency was more of a way to try to maintain the semblance of him having a fortune. But he didn't give up his fortune. He didn't. If his net worth went down, that's not him giving up his fortune. That's just people literally looking at Trump and all of the shit he's done and gone, now this is crap.
Family for the...
He didn't give up his family. He appointed his family to positions of power in office. He didn't... He didn't at all abandon his family. He brought them in and gave them power.
The betterment of this nation. He has spent 4 years making America great again, and I...
No, he has not. I am... Greg Locke, if you're watching this video, which I doubt you are, but if you are, please explain the ways in which he's making America great again. But before you do that, please, Mr. Locke, do me a favor. Can you explain to me at what point America was great, and why it was great, and why we need to return to that time period specifically? Please. If you're watching, if you happen to watch later, I implore you. When was it great? Why was it great? And why do we need to return to that time? And after you've done that, explain how Trump is getting us closer to that.
I'm convinced he's still going to spend 4 more years making America great again.
So, unless he's making America great by coming and shitting in a cell, I don't think we agree on the methods in which he will employ to make America great again. But if Trump is going to improve the state of America by sitting in the middle of a jail cell and making a slip and slide out of his own feces, then yeah, sure. I could agree with that. But I don't think that's what Greg Locke means.
This man has stood up for America first. He's...
My dude. That fucking dog whistle. Do you even know the history behind the slogan America First? That was used as an isolationist pro-Nazi stance back in the day. You can find old Dr. Seuss cartoons arguing that America First was tied directly to freaking Nazis. And doing that shit now? There's a reason Nick Fuentes has used America First as the name of his podcast. Because it's not an unknown dog whistle. When you say America First, people who have the right-wing, fashy political bent, they know what you mean. And they come running.
He stood up for Israel. He stood up for the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, for our church.
He stood up for the Second Amendment as he banned bump stocks. Yep. He definitely stood up for the Second Amendment as he banned bump stocks. Just okay. Sure thing, buddy.
Church, giving evangelicals the greatest Christian voice we've ever had in the history of this nation. And
No. evangelicals had the greatest voice back when it was impossible to exist in the United States as anything other than a Christian. You don't have the greatest voice right now. In fact, actually, evangelical support of Trump being what it is has likely undermined the efficacy of the evangelical voice.
And you want me to be disloyal to a man that has done nothing but be loyal to the American people?
Which American people? He wasn't loyal to trans American people when he kicked them out of the military. He wasn't loyal to homosexual American people when he shoved Amy Coney Barrett through, who has no issues arguing in favor of getting rid of marriage equality. He wasn't loyal to black Americans when he argued that BLM protesters needed to get gassed. He wasn't pro-America or pro-Americans when he gassed people so he could get a photo shoot. He has not done nothing but be pro-America. He's literally pulled us out of climate accords that would have, saved American lives in the long run. He has led to the deaths of 200,000 American people and counting due to his negligence during the COVID crisis. He has not done nothing but be loyal to Americans. This is a person who has done nothing but hurt America at almost every turn. He's slashed the VA's funding. You want to be pro-military. You want to be super, super pro our troops. Trump slashed funding for the Veterans Association, the people who work tirelessly to provide them health care for doing their part in protecting our country. You want to be pro-troops and then say that Trump is doing nothing but helping American people when he slashed millions of dollars out of their budget during his time he was here? You want to say that he's pro-First Amendment when he's tried to sue the media on multiple occasions for telling stories he didn't personally agree with, regardless of whether or not they were factually true? And if you want evidence of that, please go see my Trump is a Fascist video, where I actually have that evidence linked down below. You want to argue that he's pro all of these things that are constitutional, and yet, historically, he was not. He is not. Guy literally calls our military losers. Makes fun of war heroes because they happen to become prisoners of war. Admiral Bone Spurs himself, the American patriot at the golf course. Really, Greg? I understand if he puts some cherry flavoring on his boot so it tastes really good, but eventually you'll have to get to the dirty leather past the fucking candy coating.
Not on your life. I'm a pastor, and I approve this message. I serve Jesus Christ, but I honor, pray for, and respect President Donald J. Trump.
Cool. Shut the fuck up. Also, yes, the research into animal stuff that was going on at the VA is bad, but that doesn't change the reality that they also do good things. Somebody can do good and also do bad because the world does not exist in binaries. Blazik, I understand the position you're coming from. I do. But the world does not exist as a series of binaries. The fact that somebody did an evil thing does not suddenly make them evil. The fact that somebody does a good thing does not suddenly make them good. Not how this works. But in either case, Greg Locke continuing down here, November 6th, and just like that, COVID was cured. Really? Really, Greg Locke? Really? COVID was cured as of November 6th. Let's see here. Daily COVID numbers right now. We had a spike in October. United States show all. Here we go. Daily COVID numbers. Wait, what? I thought just like that COVID was cured. Wait, Greg Locke. You said that on November 6th, when there were 132,000 cases reported. But on November 7th, there were 126,000 cases reported. And we're not done with November 8th, so we don't have the data on that yet. Wait, I thought COVID was cured. Greg, you lied to me. You said COVID was cured. Greg, how could you possibly lie to me? I thought you were an arbiter of truth. You're a pastor. Why would you lie? Why would you lie to your flock? To the American people? Oh, that's right. You worship a liar. Not Jesus, but Trump. Greg, if you ever watch this video, why are your pants on fire?